Welcome to the Giving Voice to Depression podcast, produced in partnership with the A.B. Corker Foundation for Mental Health. We are your co-hosts, Bridget
and Terry. Each week, through intimate, candid conversations with guests, we explore different perspectives on and experiences of depression. We keep it real because the illness is real. We keep it hopeful because there truly is hope, in spite of what depression tells you.
We are not experts or therapists. We are sisters and best friends who live with depression and have interviewed hundreds of other people who do as well. We've learned that hearing others speak openly and without shame about their experiences makes it easier to believe depression is a common and treatable illness, not a personal failing. You are far from alone.
Hello, Bridget.
Hi, Terry. Every so often, a listener of this podcast reaches out to say that hearing other guests' stories has provided them not only with information, but with comfort and reassurance. The knowledge that they're not alone in their struggles, or even some much-needed hope. And now they want to offer the same by sharing their experience with depression.
Some have framed it as a payback or a thank you to previous guests for helping them. Others say that when they were in that dark place listening, they told themselves they'd know they were better when they felt reconnected enough with themselves that they could share their own story.
Today's guest, Jennifer, took that step so that she could talk about the challenge of finding medications that work long-term, her coping strategies in hard times, and how she learned in her work the power of saying, "I've been there. I understand." Like Terry and me, in the beginning, Jennifer was understandably nervous about sharing something so personal, so publicly for the first time. But knowing how helpful being on the receiving end of such disclosures can be, she waded in. Here is podcast listener Jennifer giving her voice to depression in an interview that we recorded in 2019. Please be sure to listen to the end for an update that Jennifer shared just this morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Is this Jennifer?
Yes, it is.
Wow, you have a great voice. This is Terry.
Oh, hi, Terry.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm a bit nervous.
A bit nervous about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything I can do other than assure you that if at the end of the call, you say, you know what, don't use that, I'll just delete it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just something I just have to sort of work through.
Okay. If there's anything I do that makes you uncomfortable, let me know. And if there's anything I can do to make you more comfortable, let me know, please.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So let's start by not talking about you. And you can just tell me when you first wrote and you said that the podcast is a source of comfort for you. I'm curious as to how hearing other people's experience of depression is comforting to you.
Well, specifically for me in my experience, right now, I am on medical leave, and the days get a bit lonely. My significant other works full-time, and having those voices really has helped me, and has helped me make it through the day, because the day does get a bit long.
Mm-hmm. So it's hearing other people say things that you relate to? Is that the comfort?
Yes, absolutely. And knowing that what I'm going through here, sometimes feeling like I'm alone, I'm not alone.
Nice. I'm glad it works that way for you, because that was certainly the intent. So you say you've really experienced depression for pretty much as long as you can remember.
I do remember my origination date. It was actually the very first and last time I ever went to summer camp. And I had been looking so forward to it all summer, and then I went and felt absolutely miserable. It was just chalked it up to, me not liking summer camp. But then that year I started grade 7, and the loneliness continued and the misery continued. And it was less than a year that I got my actual clinical diagnosis of severe depression.
Did the school alert your parents? Is that how the connection was made?
Yes. It was very, uncharacteristic of me. I was disrupting class. I was breaking down. I was sobbing in the hallway. I went to school in a very small town, and so the teachers knew me, and they knew that this was not the Jennifer they knew.
So that started your, I don't even know what adjectives to use when people have to try so many different drugs. It's disheartening, it's frustrating, it's sometimes dangerous. Tell me about that.
It's been a long journey. So my first medication, I don't even remember which one it was. It was probably something similar to Prozac. And I recently, in the last year, had a discussion with my current psychiatrist, who has said that I've been on not quite every drug on the market, but at least every drug family.
And you're trying a new one right now, so you still haven't really found the fit.
I am. I'm on Vibrad right now, which is one of the newest ones on the market. And because I've already been on just about everything else, I'm really looking at sort of just narrowing it down to what's the newest ones on the market now.
I mean, it has to be so frustrating.
I have had good stretches of time where medication really has helped me. By the end of the period of time, they seem to all stop working, which has been frustrating for me.
Because when I hear you say that, and I'm very fortunate that has not been my experience, but I think of how hopeless depression itself makes you feel. And then when the medications that are designed to help you feel better don't work, how do you keep hope?
Tomorrow comes whether I want it to or not. And there have been a lot of times where I did not want tomorrow to come, and it still came, and I still had to go on and try the new med. And I guess because I have had certain successes, at least limited success, with certain types of medications, I guess there is a little bit of sunshine out there that perhaps that this medication will work again down the road.
I think that would require great personal strength.
Well, thank you. I don't always feel strong.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, some days you just got to marshal yourself and keep going, even if the keep going is just to stay in bed another day and hope it gets better.
Hate that. How do you explain depression to someone who doesn't have it?
It's almost like the villain in some of those movies that you see where they are able to control the hero and they're able to make the hero do what they want. And just a part of you knows that this isn't right and this isn't correct and these thoughts aren't yours, and yet it's still there and it still controls you and it still manipulates you to no end.
And I can honestly say, when I had my worst depression, which was what caused me to start this, I didn't know that. I just hook, line, and sinker bought the crap that depression was saying to me, and no part of me thought, this could be a symptom of an illness. Perhaps you should contact your doctor. I was just like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is me. This is me. Yeah, and I have to admit there are times that I have taken it, and I've swallowed what it's given me, and just accepted it.
Boy. Okay, so someone asked me the other day what depression has taken from me. So I'm asking you.
Wow, that is a tough one. Not just the ability to experience joy, but just the missed experiences. All the time that I could be working. I have a friend who's running politically, and she wants me to go door knocking with her. She wants me to help her with her campaign, and I want to do that, and yet the darkness still is there, and I feel that it some ways it robs us of experiences and all those good things in life that we could be doing if not for this constant battle with this illness.
You said you have a significant other. Does he or she recognize this as an illness and is of a support?
Oh, yes. He is my biggest support. He's just always there, always willing to give me what I need, even if what I need is space.
I always think I want to be alone when I'm in it, and I wonder if we're correct. Do you think maybe being alone isn't our best bet or the healthiest choice?
Oh, I definitely think it's probably not our healthiest choice. I think it gives the depression power. It allows us to be with our own thoughts, or the thoughts that we think belong to us. And it's, so definitely being with someone and having that external voice tell you different, I think, for me anyway, I think is extremely helpful.
I've talked to a lot of people who have said things like word games or puzzles, just enough that you have to think of something else and get out of your head, but not in a stressful or, exhausting way. Is that any tool you use?
Actually, funny you should mention that. Just this spring, I taught myself to knit. While being on medical leave. Yeah, keeping my hands busy and keeping myself at least occupied enough to follow, to knit and purl and that sort of thing has helped, yeah.
Tell me what else.
One thing that I've used was pacing. And I would literally, when I got down into a dark episode, would pace for hours and hours until I was absolutely exhausted, and especially during periods when I felt the urge to self-harm. I felt that the pacing really helped expel that energy, and then basically at the end I was too tired to do anything, and then it would just go to bed.
Tell me how you have used or are using your experiences to help students. By the way, are you comfortable with this? Are you okay? This is going okay?
Oh, this is going great. Yeah.
Okay.
This is it's going better than I thought, because I thought I would have a mouthful of cotton and a completely blank mind, and I'm actually doing a lot better than I figured.
Great. You're doing great. Thank you. Yeah.
So I am an administrative assistant in a counselor's office in a public high school. Basically, I am like the receptionist, so they come in and I am the first face they see. I am the smiling hello. And for a lot of students, it's a lot of basic stuff. But we do have a very large population of depressed and high anxiety students. I am not a counselor. I do not counsel. What I can do is provide that experience. Often for some of these kids, I am the very first person who has ever said to them, I am like you.
Great power in that.
Yeah. On my right forearm, I have the semicolon tattoo right next to my self-harm scar. I am very honest about it. I used to self-harm as well.
So when they ask how you stopped, what is your answer?
I tell them that it's about distracting yourself. And I bring up the pacing, and I bring up that you need to find that one thing that will get you out of your head in that second for the next 30 seconds and then the next 60 seconds, and will stop those thoughts from just eternally swirling around in your head.
Is that the same advice you give for the negative thoughts of depression?
Very much so, yeah. Yeah.
When you reached out, and I thank you for doing that, was there a particular lesson that you wanted to share that when you were listening to other people's stories, you thought this would be helpful to somebody listening?
The one thing that I wanted to share with working in a school and working in a counselor's office is that we don't have to all be saving the world to make a difference. For those of us who've gone through it and are still going through it, that it's those little connections that we make every day, and being open and being honest and fighting the stigma, that it really can impact an individual. I think I would have appreciated that if I had known someone who had gone through it when I was their age.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the time, and thank you for all you do. Thank you for putting this together. I haven't found another podcast that even comes close to sort of expressing what I feel a lot at times.
Wow, Jennifer, you certainly did express how you feel. Thank you for sharing it with us. I've never heard anybody speak to the loss that depression imposes on us. You know, she says that we're robbed of our good experiences, and obviously missed work is in there. But it does impose a deep, deep loss.
Oh, it does.
Not just of joy. People talk about the loss of joy, but it, as she says, it's more than that.
It is more than that. And I love when she said we don't all need to save the world to make a difference, that it's the little connections we make every day that can make a difference for someone.
I agree completely. And her word choice of the eternal swirl of negative thoughts. It's like, oh, is that ever accurate?
I want to mention the semicolon tattoo that Jennifer has. For those of you who don't know that it is a symbol of suicide prevention, the idea from Project Semicolon is that when an author is writing a sentence, they have the choice of ending it with a period or continuing it with a semicolon, and that we are the authors of our own stories, and that the semicolon is representative of our choice to continue our sentence, our story, our life.
We promised an update on how Jennifer's story continued. We hope that listeners who've had trouble finding a treatment, medication, or other tools to help them manage their mental health challenges will take some comfort and find some hope in the fact that after all Jennifer's frustrations, this morning, she sent us this note.
So Jennifer wrote, quote, "I continued to struggle with my illness after my episode aired, but I was determined not to let it control me. In March of 2020, I did transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS, but the results only lasted for a month. In June of 2021, I did a round of ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, and am delighted with the results. I will not let this illness win. We must always keep searching for hope." How cool is that?
That's really cool. Jennifer is such an awesome example of resilience, that ability to, in the face of such challenge and unknown, when we really, really need a solution and we've tried everything and we don't know what else to try, the courage and fortitude that it takes to, again, bounce back up and try something else is inspiring. And I'm so glad that she's feeling better.
Me too. That fall down 7 times, get up 8 can be encouraging, but it can also be so frustrating, and she is a great model. And next week, we have the honor of talking to Jennifer again. She was willing to do an update on her mental health journey and let us know some of the specifics about how what she has tried since we last spoke has worked and how she's doing. So tune in next week, if you will, for an update on Jennifer's mental health journey and her first-person, hard-earned reminder of the importance of finding, stoking, and holding on to hope. So please join us next week.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Bridget. Talk next week.
We truly hope that our podcast brings a little more understanding, helps you better articulate your experience of depression, or better understand how to support someone else's.
We invite you to join us for daily posts on the Giving Voice to Depression Facebook page and on Twitter and Instagram at Voice Depression. It is a comfort to be among fellow travelers on depression's dark road.
And remember, if you're struggling, speak up. If someone else is, listen up.